Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. As you can see, there's really not enough light outside, but that's going to be the mantra for all my late autumn and early winter videos until I get my lights ordered and delivered from Amazon UK, so we'll just roll with it. First of all, if you're new to my channel and this is the first video you've seen, my name is Alina, I'm an author and I post videos on YouTube about books and writing. And sometimes I talk about being an author, the tools you have at your disposal, how to build your platform and how to market yourself, because that's part of being an author. So might not be something we all enjoyed, but it's definitely something we should focus on. So today I have a video that's sort of a mix between an author's answer video and a series of videos on self-promotion. The question that drew my attention and I wasn't sure if I was going to answer would be from someone who said, I would love to hear anything anyone has to say about book promotions and what route works best for them. The reason why I wasn't sure I wanted to do an author's answer video on this is because it's a long story. It's a topic that provides quite a lot of other subtopics to talk about, so I wasn't sure I could get it done in one video, so I came with the idea of doing a series on everything I do to promote myself and my author brand and my books, and today is the first one. And I'm going to focus on a channel that I use for promotion for each of these videos. Today we're talking about author websites, and I have my website opened here. I will insert a photo of how it looks right now somewhere here so that you can have a clearer picture of it. But what's important to know is that I'm actually working on redesigning this. It's pretty okay in terms of website design, but I want to make it better and more efficient and better suited for my brand and what I'm doing and how I'm viewing this entire author thing. So let's get started. First of all, I would recommend that everyone gets an author website. And the reason why I think a website is so important, you can run it as a blog, it doesn't matter what content you put on it, but the moment you get your own domain and you have your website built on it, you have one platform that you're in total control of. Facebook may go away tomorrow, Twitter as well. Amazon might decide to cut author pages altogether and you have no control over it. When you have a website, you own it. Even if your provider goes down and there's no one to host it, you can switch to a new provider. So it's something that you have a lot of control over and you don't depend on other people to make sure it stays where it is. I mentioned getting your own domain name. I strongly recommend that for any author. You can of course head the wordpress.com domain or one from Blogger, so it would be authorname.blogspot.com, but the problem with these is that they will limit you. First of all, it's really hard to get authority for a domain that's hosted like that. A standalone.com or .co.uk or .biz or whatever domain will always be easier to optimize for search results than something that's hosted by WordPress. Of course, if you're happy with the platform, you're used to it because you've run a blog on it, it's perfectly fine to keep using it. You can still get your own domain and host it to wordpress.com or to Blogger if that works for you. The way I do it is that I have my website and I have installed WordPress on it, but it's an installed software for content management. I host it on my own virtual server, which I share with a friend, and it helps that the friend is really good at everything IT, so he manages all the web hosting details for me. which you might not have, but then you don't have to have a virtual private server. I do it because I have several blogs and I need a lot of bandwidth and storage space, and that's just how it works best for me. But I think having something that you host and that's your own and that you can change however you want is really important. I've seen a lot of authors starting with a WordPress.com site, and then that's Ares. He's contributing to this conversation, I'm sorry. And then they switch to Wix or some other service and their link changes. So everyone who's been linking to your site, those links would lead to old pages, out of date pages, or if you completely delete your site, they would lead nowhere, which is bad. So the thing is, you need other people linking to you so that it makes it easier for people to find you. And the more incoming links you have to your website, the easier it is for you to rank higher on search pages. I am in no way a search engine optimization expert, but I know enough to know that completely changing your URL address is not a good thing. Think of an author website name, buy it, it's something like $10 a year, and keep it. When you buy a domain name, maybe think long term. I'm not a fan of using a book as a domain name, unless that's the only book you want to ever write. If you write the second book, you'll need a second website. So I think using your pen name or your author name is best. Of course, if you manage several pen names, that can be a bit tricky, but I've seen a lot of authors who have one website and they have all their pen names there, which works great. The way I use it is that I have my book pages and my about me and all of that goodness, but I also have a blog attached to the website. Why is the blog important? Well, first of all, websites need fresh content. The more often you update your content, the more often bots from search sites will crawl your site and index new pages and give you a lot more relevance. So I use the blog to do that. I haven't been very good at posting on my blog, so please try and remember throughout this video that you should do what I say, not necessarily what I do. Because what I do should be improved a lot. Yeah, I could do better. So what I post on the blog are announcements about my books and my releases, snippets of books I'm working on. I do have a few series on tools authors can use. I also had a series of guest posts from other authors that offered advice to newbie authors or authors who are just not particularly good at one aspect of this business. I had posts on everything from the craft of writing and writing particular parts of a book or different scenes or even blurbs, to how to go about creating an audiobook and so on. And those have been really popular. For my readers, I have a serial on my blog, which I'm not really good at updating as frequently as I should, but let's get past that. It should go out twice a month on Fridays, but it doesn't happen as often, especially on months like this one when NaNoWriMo is eating up all my free time. Yeah, Ares thinks I should post more often as well. Go away, dog. Go away. He doesn't want to go away. So anyway, this serial I have is pretty much the same as publishing one chapter of a book once in a while and offering it for free. A lot of people got interested in that story and are following me for it, which I think is really great because they subscribe to the blog or they subscribe to my newsletter or they just follow me on social media and see whenever I post a new installment. The story is titled Magic Unleashed and I do publish a chapter at a time. I don't break it down in several posts for one chapter. And the plan for this is to permanently leave it on my blog, but when the story is completed, I'm going to get it through editing and release it on Amazon for a low price, something like 99 cents, because I don't feel comfortable charging people more for something they can read for free. Of course, that would be an edited version. I would get a cover for it, so I will need to make those expenses back at some point, hence the price. That's my content strategy. Offer tips for authors who might be interested in visiting me, and offer information about myself, my experiences, my books, and a free story for the readers who visit my blog. In theory, I should have a clear content strategy for my site and for my blog. I should have a plan, stick to it, because consistency is key. I fail at that part. The reason why consistency is important is that people get used to seeing things on certain days or at certain time intervals. So if they know they get your free story on Fridays, they will come visit your blog on Fridays if that's what interests them. If they are authors and are looking for author tips from yourself, they might check a series you're doing on Thursday. Or if you have guest authors publishing on your blog on Saturdays, they'll come by on Saturdays. I recommend having a different subscription for your blog than your newsletter, because some people just want to be notified whenever you post something new on the blog. They're not interested in the newsletter format because they might not be readers, they might be authors who want to see what else you've shared and what else you've been doing. So I do have that. I have a sign-up form for my newsletter and one to subscribe to the blog through Feedburner. So that's how I use my blog. Of course, I've linked all my social media because it makes it easier. I made sure every post has social media sharing buttons, and I do share my own content on my social media profiles. But if Facebook decides tomorrow that they're going to close down my page or my profile, or if Twitter goes out of business, because God knows their shares have been tanking for a long while and they're dropping users left and right. If they go away one day, my site is still there. And what I further recommend, and it's something that I do a lot, is whenever you have an option to add a feed for your author website or blog to a profile elsewhere, do it. I have blog content linked to my Goodreads profile, and there are a lot of people who read my blog through there. I also have it linked to my Amazon author profile, which keeps people informed on what I'm doing, because otherwise the Amazon page is pretty static unless you have a release. And yes, that's about it. In theory, when I'm doing everything I'm supposed to be doing with the blog, I post 2 to 3 posts a week. I haven't posted anything this month, so that's a bad thing. You should never do that. You should stay consistent. Well, I think, actually, I did post something. I think I posted about my cover review. Yeah. I did post about my cover review. But that is bad, my friends. That's bad. Now, in terms of tone, I try to keep it professional and friendly. I'm a lot more quirky, let's say, on YouTube or on Facebook when I share stuff or post about things. I'm a bit more professional on my author website and on my author blog, because these are people who might first see me there and they expect a business page. As friendly and open as I am on my blog, the truth is, being an author is my career and I have to treat it as such. So that's how I go about the tone. I'm a lot more myself, I'd like to say, but it's not that. I'm a lot more conversational on YouTube because it's a completely different medium and you get to see me and my personality, and I think that's important to be very clear in my videos. But when it comes to my author website, this is a reflection of how I view my writing and my future plans as an author. I see it as a business, I see it as something that's important for me and that I take seriously. Then again, that doesn't mean you won't find smiley faces or jokes on my blog when I post, because That's just who I am, and I'm not going to conceal my identity behind a business persona. I'm just trying to make everything clean and casual but professional at the same time. And that's my choice. Another important thing that I would like to point out when you build your author website is your contact details. You'll have to add an email address to your blog and site and author platform. I have a confession to make. My most used email is my Gmail. Because I've had it for a long time, I've used that to connect with a lot of people, and that's still my most used one. It's not the one I use on my author profiles or whenever I'm asked for an email address. I use an email address that's connected to my website. So it won't be alina@gmail.com, it will be alina@alinapopescu.com. That's alina-popescu.com if I want to be straight, but you should be at author name because that looks a lot more professional. In this day and age, Gmail is seen as a very powerful business tool, and people are more open to a Gmail instead of a proper business email. That doesn't work on everyone. So if you want to have a professional side that you present to people who are going to contact you, maybe get an email that looks professional as well, not a Yahoo mail or Gmail or whatever. Another reason for that, other than making your website look professional, is that you'll need that for your newsletter, but we'll talk about that at a different point in a different video. Although I've covered newsletters before, I will tell you more about my strategy, how I promote myself, and how I use newsletters as a sales tool. Now, the reason why an author website is important, like I said before, is because this is the one platform that will stay there with you and nobody can take it away from you, unless, well, you don't pay hosting or you don't pay your renewal fee for your domain name registration, but that's something completely different. But if a service goes down, this won't go down with them. So I see it as a very important place to focus your efforts and build your brand around it. I would also suggest keeping it clean and keeping it dark or black text on a light background. I've seen a lot of author websites that are super dark. While it might work with their brand, in a lot of cases that's not good for readability. So unless you're a big name author where readers and people interested in you will go through the pain of reading something on a dark background, just go with something that improves readability. You can have a clean and minimal website that promotes a dark brand. That's not a problem. So I would recommend going that way, but then again, it's a question of preference and what you value more. If you don't publish a lot of text, if it's a website where you only have your books and a bit of detail about yourself, that's different. But if you want to attach a blog to it, I wouldn't go with a dark background and a light text like white on black or white on dark blue. It just isn't that great for readability, especially for longer blocks of text. It just tires the eyes and it's not something I'd use. Another important thing is make your font bigger. I've worked on this site for a long time and I know that's important for my new one. I wanted my font to be easy to read. I've seen a lot of designs and themes where the font is freaking minuscule. It might look good, but it's hard to read, and if you want to post longer excerpts or detailed blog posts, that will pretty much hurt people's eyes. So I went with clear and clean and large enough to read comfortably. You have to think of your author website as what it is. It is a place where all the information about you should be easy to find. There should be a bio about you. There should be details on your books. There should be details on your future plans. If you're going to author events, there should be details about those so that people can find you. It's also a business tool and a sales tool. So whatever avenues you have to sell your books or your brand, they should be added to your blog. And it's also a place where you hang out with friends and readers and other authors. So when you design it, think of all of these. I'm not the kind of person that thinks, oh, this is just a business page, that's all I'm going to do with it. It's not like that. Several types of people will come to this site and reach my posts through searches that have nothing to do with me particularly, or my blog or my books. So once they get here, I want to make sure they're all welcome. So that's about it. That's what I do with my website. That's how I see things, and I hope this has been helpful for you. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer them or expand on any of the things I mentioned before, but I just don't know where everyone is in terms of what their interests are, where their problems lie. If you were to ask me how much time you should invest in your website, there's shitloads of time that it will require for you. First of all, you have to tweak your texts on your pages about you, about your books, and then you will have to update those pages every time new books are published, which again, I haven't been doing much, but I have a reason for that. We are working on a redesign for this website. It will look completely different. So there was no point in me adding a lot of content when it was just going to be changed completely. But after November, I will work on that throughout December, because I want to have my new website ready for the new year. But you will need about a week or two just to write all your texts for the website, and then you will need a few hours each week for fresh content, updates, and for promoting. It's not a platform that is low maintenance. It can be low maintenance, but if you put less time into it, you will yield fewer results. If you have a lush budget to invest, then you might not need a lot of time. You might just get someone to do it for you. But in most cases, authors are trying to save every word they can, so that they invest their money in their writing and book promotion and so on. Try to slot in a few hours a week for your author website or your author blog. I would never recommend choosing a website over a blog or a blog over a website. I think having both works best, because a blog is a website in the end. All you have to do is have a landing page instead of your just blog posts running down the page, and have a few pages about yourself, and that's it. You have an author website. But if you can't maintain a blog, just having a static website where you just update your books once in a while, that's enough. That works. It's fine. You don't have to do it all. It's really important that you decide how much time you have and where you want to invest it, because you won't always be able to do everything you want to do for your author platform. Sometimes there's just not enough hours in the day to do it all, so choose wisely. At least setting up a website and making sure it works is super important. So I hope this has been helpful and not too rambly. I had a few ideas about what I was going to say, but it wasn't completely scripted, because I wanted it to be as genuine as I could get it. Again, if you have any more questions, do ask them below. I'm happy to answer anything related to what I do, what I recommend, and where to find out what to do from people who are way smarter and better at marketing than me. Thank you so much for watching. If you've enjoyed this video, again, I appreciate you liking it and sharing it. And if you can and haven't already, please consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. It really helps me out a lot, because I have plans of world domination, and I plan to do that by getting as many subscribers as I can and then turning them into my subjects. That's a good plan, I think. Solid. It's never gonna happen, but anyway. I will see you all on Friday, which I'm not exactly sure what kind of video it will be. It will be something surrounding my Sky and Storm release, but Not sure if I'll do a vlog or just a normal video. We'll have to see, and you'll have to wait till Friday to discover. So bye for now, I'll see you later.